Gurdjieff had always said that whatever happens after death, it is affected by this life here. The only life we can work on directly is this life here. And so if we work in this life, it will help us in any future life we may have. If we don't work in this life, then we perish like a dog. And the prospects for any life after physical death are that much grimmer. And in fact, that's part of the reason he says so little about life after death, because he said people shouldn't be fantasizing about what's going to happen after they die. They should be working now. And then that will look after everything else. Because Gurdjieff did say to Uspensky, we cannot understand what happens after death completely. We can't get the full picture. Our minds are simply not capable of it. Impossible. But yet something could be understood. And it was important, said Gurdjieff, to understand that what you can grasp depends on the level of your being. So and furthermore, that it depends on the efforts you make now in this life. So that's why he doesn't set out visions of the afterlife. He said, what's the point of speaking about recurrence if you don't understand that if you're not working, recurrence doesn't even exist for you? That it's the work you do now in this moment which determines what will happen. And that's all you can do. You can't work directly on the future. With what he said to Uspensky about how when you die, the body returns to the earth, an animating principle goes to the moon, but unless you've made something for yourself, there's no real post-mortem existence. What Gurdjieff is saying is that if one doesn't work, then the physical body returns to the earth, something passes to the moon, and there's a certain possibility of existence after death. Bennett said that this age is marked by increasing deterioration. The rate of deterioration is increasing. And I think that, generally speaking, that's correct. Gurdjieff said that we were created in order to live until we had perfected the Kesjan body, until we had achieved a certain conscious development and crystallized something.
Another way of saying what you were saying is to be in the world but not of it. To keep that keep that separateness, to understand, to be aware.
Is that Bennett found from his own experience, and I am persuaded that something survives death, but it will be passive and won't have a power of intentional movement or its own independent volition unless that power of independent volition is realized in this life. That is, unless one works for real I in this life, that does not take place after death. One remains fairly passive. Now, what else might happen after death, we don't know. Christian ideas of redemption, other ideas can come into play. I'm sure that they do. But if one works for the development of an independent will in this life, it will have an effect on one's survival after death.